Can mixed marriages between theist and atheist work? Can a religious person survive well with a non-religious person, a non-believer? This question is asked equally by both atheist and theist. Marriage is one of the most intimate and most serious relationships a person can have in their lives. It is thus understandable that people wonder if the gap between atheism and theism will create further differences which prevent individuals from making a marriage work. Similar questions are legitimately asked with regards to gaps created by social backgrounds, race, and many other issues. This isn't an easy issue to address because so much depends upon the particular situation which people find themselves in and the nature of the people involved. Thus, the most direct answer must be, it depends. A mixed marriage between a theist and an atheist can work, but their success depends a great deal upon their ability to overcome certain barriers which may, but need not arise. One barrier which can prevent a marriage between an atheist and a theist from working is the issue of respect and tolerance. Without some minimal amount of those two factors, it is difficult for any relationship to survive. When such fundamental matters like the existence of God or gods is at issue, they become even more critical. If anything comes between an atheist and a theist, it probably won't be the theism itself. Instead, one of the things most likely to cause problems will be religion. Not every theist is religious, and not every religious person is a theist. What this means is that specific doctrines and dogmas are most likely to cause problems and will have to be watched closely. Of course, most marriages are preceded by dating and courtship, a time in people's relationship with each other when matters are less serious and more provincial. At this stage, differences over theism and religion are less likely to cause problems, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be watched closely. One barrier which may prevent a marriage between an atheist and a theist from working are the issues of respect and tolerance. Without them, it is difficult for any relationship to survive. When fundamental matters like the existence of God or gods are involved, they become even more critical. Obviously, it's not necessary for a married couple to agree on everything. If they did, the marriage would probably end up very boring, intellectually speaking. Instead, what we're talking about is a willingness not just to agree to disagree, but also to agree that the other person isn't evil or stupid for the position they have adopted, but you have rejected. Your partner might be mistaken, or they might not be rational about it, but they should not be treated as if that mistake is for any other than honest and fair reasons. After all, you aren't perfect either, and there are surely things you are mistaken about or ideas which you have adopted for less than perfectly rational reasons. A very important aspect of this is not spending all your time trying to convert one another. Exploring differences is certainly good, and there's nothing wrong with debating the issues where you disagree, but going to great lengths to try to change the other person is often a bad idea, no matter what the topic. When it comes to theism or religion, trying to change your spouse is likely among the worst goals you can have. It makes much more sense to focus on what you already have in common rather than trying to manufacture new agreements. If you love a person, you should love them for who they are rather than who you wish they would become after you have had time to work on them. To be fair, if anything comes between an atheist and a theist, it isn't and it won't be theism itself. Instead, one of the things most likely to cause the problem will be the religion. For, as stated, not every theist is religious and not every religious person a theist. What this means is that the specific doctrines and dogmas are most likely to cause the problems, and they'll have to be watched closely. As discussed previously, in order for a marriage between a theist and atheist to work, it's necessary for both to be able to be tolerant to one another's position, but to respect them as people as well. An absence of respect for the person you are married to will kill a marriage quickly. Because of this, the doctrines which are most likely to interfere with a marriage are those which encourage or cause the religious believer to lose respect for their spouse. For example, there are many religious people who believe that a marriage must be based on God and or that a married couple must always put God first. But a marriage between an atheist and a theist obviously won't be able to do that. Another example would be the common Christian belief that only Christians will go to heaven and that atheists certainly will not. An obvious problem if such a Christian is married to an atheist. There's a very good chance for conflict in a marriage if such doctrines come into play. It isn't unreasonable to argue that when a person makes their religion a significant basis for a marriage and their prospective partner doesn't share that religion for whatever reason, then the marriage is in trouble from the beginning. If you are concerned that your differences with someone might prevent a possible marriage, it would be a serious error to focus solely on the fact that one of you is a theist and the other is not, or even that one of you is religious and the other is not. Instead, it is necessary to take a closer look at the specific doctrines and dogmas which the religious person holds and consider how they might affect the person's perspective on non-adherence and a marriage with a non-adherent. Of course, most marriages are preceded by dating and courtship, and it's during this time that these issues should be watched closely. When it comes to dating, you must step back and decide what you're looking for in the relationship. Is it just for companionship and fun, or is it a prelude to something more serious and permanent? If the former, then as long as the differences in religion and theism aren't already interfering, there should be nothing wrong with ignoring them and continue to find happiness in one another's company. Like sleeping dogs lie, as the old saying goes, and enjoy the relationship for what it is. However, if your general goal in dating is to find someone with whom you can build a long-term and permanent relationship, then you cannot afford to ignore differences on such serious matters like religion. Obviously, that isn't something you want to bring up on the first date, at least if you're still hoping for a second date. But at some point, you may look at the relationship and realize that it could become very serious. At this point, you'll need to take stock of how compatible the two of you are before matters progress much further. If you have questions or concerns, the two of you will need to sit down and talk about them. It is unlikely that you'll be able to resolve any differences immediately, but if you are both otherwise committed to each other and approach your differences with love and respect, then you should feel confident in your ability to work things out like adults. If you do, and if you can manage similar resolutions to other differences, then if you get married, your marriage will be much stronger for it. My name is Kelsey Graham. My website is kelseygraham.com. That's KelseyGraham. I am a wedding officiant. My motto is your wedding your way. This specifically means that the ceremony, the rituals, the style that is used in your wedding is a reflection of who you are, not a reflection of who I am. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I'm here to serve you, and I strongly urge you to watch all my videos on this subject as it has become a more prominent issue in the last few years. I have married couples who are mixed faith. I have married couples who one is a Christian and the other is an atheist, and they have worked well together. So in lieu of these facts, if you listen carefully and take these matters to heart and seriously, you can make such a marriage work. But it is best to address these issues up front. Thank you for listening.